I'd like to welcome our speaker, Dr. Linda Furuto. Dr. Furuto is an associate professor of mathematics education here at the University of Hawaii at Mānoa. Before joining the Mānoa community, Dr. Furuto was the head of mathematics and science and the founder of the Mathematics Center at UH West Oahu. She's been recognized as one of the Pacific Business News top 40 under 40. And she's twice won awards from the UH Board of Regents for excellence in teaching. So she's not only a researcher, but she's a teacher as well, which I think is wonderful. Her research focuses on mathematics achievement, quantitative methodology, ethnomathematics, STEM education, and educational access and equity. And, as we'll get to hear about shortly, she was on the first international leg of Hokule'a's worldwide voyage. Personally, I got the chance to look at some of her things on the web, and I have to tell you, this is a really interesting and amazing person. So I hope that some of what she shares with us today reflects that. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aloha mai kako. Mahalo UH Mānoa, Office of Vice Chancellor of Research and Hamilton Library for this opportunity to be part of the faculty lecture series. Before I begin, I would like to express my sincerest appreciation to each of you, as well as your family, kupuna, and ancestors who made it possible for you to be here with us today. In the words of the great mathematician Isaac Newton, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We would not be here without those that have gone before us. Today, I would like to share with you a story and leave you with a challenge. Hokule'a, Star of Gladness, is a Hawaiian voyaging canoe renowned for the role it has played in rekindling the Pacific Island traditions of celestial navigation and wayfinding by the sun, moon, stars, winds. We cannot tell the story of Hokule'a without highlighting our teachers. Our teachers are our visionaries and include Papa Mau Piailag, our very first teacher, and a great man who came from the island of Sarawak. NASA astronaut and Punahou alum Lacey Veach, who told Uncle Pinky Thompson in 1992, quote, "You don't know how beautiful island Earth is until you see it from space. You need to take Hokule'a around the world because Hawaii is a laboratory for living well on islands." End quote. And our hero, Eddie Aikau, who gave his life for the beloved Hokule'a, and whose plaque on the front of the va'a reads, "No greater love hath a man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends." There's not enough time to mahalo all of our teachers, their sacrifices, and the legacy of the founders of the Polynesian Voyaging Society, Herb Kawai Nuikane, Tommy Holmes, Ben Finney. We owe every accomplishment to great teachers, great visionaries, who not only inspired, but held us accountable to our visions. In the penetrating words of Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson, quote, "Embedded in the story of Hokule'a and the culture that created her is a story of a 2,000-year-old relationship with special islands in the sea. It is a story that was almost lost and was close to extinction. But ultimately, it is a story of survival, rediscovery, and the restoration of pride and dignity. It is a story of a society revaluing its relationship to its island home. It is a story that is crucially important as the world's populations struggle with the ability to live in balance with our island that we call Earth. It is a story that is still being written for our children and all future generations." End quote. And I'd like to share with you a 3-minute overview of the worldwide voyage.
"7,000 years ago, the first really oceanic people came out of China, and came out of Taiwan. Then you get to Polynesia, this oceanic country bounded by Hawaii in the north and New Zealand in the southwest, and Rapa Nui in the east. 10 million square miles, bigger than Russia. And it was discovered by these extraordinary people. They were really the astronauts of our ancestors. They were the greatest explorers on the face of the earth.
Unaided by modern instruments, these extraordinary explorers discovered and settled every livable landmass in the Pacific, relying solely on a complex understanding of the stars, the winds, the waves, and other cues from nature. Guided by this traditional wisdom and perspective, Hawaiians mastered the science of living sustainably on islands. Western expansion, however, brought not only new ways of seafaring, but a shift in perspective on how to interact with the natural environment. Eventually, traditional practices and worldviews were nearly forgotten. But a group of determined individuals got together in the 1970s to resurrect indigenous wisdom by building a traditional canoe and sailing it in the way of the ancestors. Hokule'a's first voyage to Tahiti reawakened a cultural pride, identity, and an intimate connection to place. In a generation, Hokule'a has sailed over 140,000 nautical miles to reunite the world's largest oceanic nation. Today, Hokule'a voyages around the planet with the message of Malama Honua, or caring for island Earth, with a firm belief that blending traditional and modern technologies will help us find our way to a healthier future.
Hokulea, to us, to go around the world, has this enormous potential to go to 40, 50 countries on the planet, to be with the great navigators on Earth. And I'm not talking about those in canoes. I'm talking about those who are doing things to give kindness and compassion to the Earth and those who live on it. Those navigators. We're not going to change the world, but we're going to go and build a network of people around the Earth who are going to change it. And our job is to help them be successful.
This is a map of the 4-year voyage around the world. 2013 was a statewide sail around Hawaii, and 2014 commenced with the first international leg from Hawaii to Tahiti. I am deeply, humbly grateful for the opportunity I had to voyage on that first international leg from Hawaii to Tahiti and subsequent voyages to American Samoa, Olohenga, Swains Island, and Aotearoa, New Zealand. Through experiences on land and sea, I've come to understand that Hokule'a is an educational vehicle that allows us to thread past, present, and future generations through values of courage, kindness, compassion, wisdom, love, and aloha. My kuleana on board are apprentice navigator and education specialist. Prior to departure, as part of my training, Nainoa Thompson and I went walking around 10:30 or so at night, and we watched the stars rising in the heavens. We watched Hokule'a and Hikianalia ascending, and he gave me profound wisdom that I hope I always carry with me. And what he said was, Linda, you have to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, someone will take it away from you, or they'll give you theirs. At this time, I would like to invite you on board to help us experience what it's like to be on the canoe. I ask each of us to think about our visions and what we are willing to sail for. The following video, produced by OEV TV, is titled Mele no Hikianalia, and it was filmed on board Hikianalia on a leg from Hawaii to Tahiti. Hikianalia is a companion vessel and a platform for scientific research. She recently returned home to Hawaii to further educational connections here. The video captures daily life on the canoe, including fishing, navigating, eating, smiling, doing educational Google Hangouts on air, and the crew finding land after 16 days. This is when they found land. Still gives me chicken skin every time I watch that, and that was over a year ago. Our last night on the ocean just felt the calmness pierce us to the core with the reminder that we are not alone, that we sail for peace, we sail for the love of our planet, and we sail with our brothers and sisters around the world. After we found the coconut trees, which are the highest points on Mānoa, there was just this feeling, a reminder that when we eliminate economic, international borders, that we are one oceanic people living together on one planet. After we arrived in Tahiti, we were greeted by the French Polynesian President Gaston Plus, who presented us with a Mālama Honua Declaration and a pledge to take care of island Earth. We received similar pledges while sailing with the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in Apia, Samoa, and discussing universal human values and education with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And certainly these are extraordinary human beings, but for me, the real highlight is being with the children. Thousands of children have experienced the floating classrooms, Hokule'a and Hikianalia, models of island sustainability and exploration of island wisdom and global connections. The next couple of slides are detail what we do with education at sea and education in port. So while at sea, we have crew blogs, video stories, photos, navigation observations. There's a live Google tracking map and Google Hangouts on air with schools and communities. We also have experiments that are part of Science at Sea, including plankton toads and identification, water quality research, marine debris collection and identification, hydroponic food growing, marine mammal acoustics, and fish DNA and identification. So when we catch the fish, we open them up to see what we find. And I would like to mention here that Science at Sea is largely supported by the Mānoa School of Ocean and Earth Science and Technology, SOEST, including oceanography, geology and geophysics, the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, CTAR, and the Center for Microbial Oceanography, Research and Education, CMOR, among others. While in port, we engage in learning journeys, which are with cultural groups, environmental agencies. For example, in Tahiti, we went to Wharehape, which is where Pele resided before she moved from Tahiti to Hawaii. We also did coral planting, and we visited bird sanctuaries, crew blogs and video stories, canoe tours with the community, presentations with schools, and Google Hangouts on air. One of my favorites was when we were in Pago Pago. We did a live Google Hangout with previous ports, including Tahiti and Kawaihona in Hawaii, on climate change, ocean acidification, and coral reefs. USN global partners include Nat Geo, Google, UNESCO, and NOAA. One of the Worldwide Voyage's core missions is to engage learners across the globe. And the Promise of the Children outlines the bond between voyaging and education communities. It's a document that was authored by educational leadership here in Hawaii, including these individuals, and is being carried around the world on Hokule'a. So we have representation from UH, DOE, Mānoa College of Education, the Board of Education, the Governor's Executive Office on Early Learning, private independent schools, and the Polynesian Voyaging Society. According to the Promise of Children, we believe that the betterment of humanity is inherently possible, and we believe our schools, from early childhood education through advanced graduate studies, are a powerful force for good. This is the voyage of our lifetimes. The University of Hawaii's 10 campuses have active programs and projects to achieve this goal, such as ethnomathematics and STEM learning, end quote. The University of Hawaii system is the higher education partner of the voyage and has been there to guide our paths. This photo includes UH President David Lasner, Hawaii DOE Superintendent Kathy Mateoshi, and Kamehameha School's Director of Policy Analysis and System Evaluation, Sean Kana'iaupuni. We're also missing from this photo UH Mānoa College of Education Curriculum Studies Chair Andrea Bartlett, all of who joined us in Aotearoa this past March 2015. Ethnomathematics has fundamentally been part of this work, but allow me to introduce an overview. Defined as an intersection of culture, socio-cultural roots, historical traditions, among others, ethnomathematics encourages the investigation and adaptations of these concepts both within and outside of the classroom. The goal is to acknowledge that diverse cultural systems and frameworks have existed since the beginning of time, and to help educators discover pathways that foster increased student engagement through multiple approaches to learning mathematics. A strong component is finding relevance in real-world applications through physical, environmental, spiritual, and cultural capacities. These photos here were taken at Kapi'olani Community College when we planted a tree with Chancellor Leon Richards. To bring the voyage back home to the University of Hawaii, I would like to share with you about the Ethnomathematics and STEM Institute. Now in its 8th year, the Institute is an effort to address issues of equitable and quality education through culturally responsive STEM pedagogy. We bring together research institutions and community-based organizations to support professional development for P20 STEM educators as well as pre-service students. As a side note, for the first 5 years of the Institute, I was a math faculty at UH West Oahu, so we focus on undergraduate STEM majors. In addition to classroom learning, experiential, place-based learning occurs throughout the Hawaiian Islands. For example, at Waimea Valley, we talk about intersections of environmental conservation, tropical marine science, and biology through debarking and rock wall building using vectors. At the 400-year-old Waikalua Loko'ia, participants help restore the fish pond and learn about engineering skills involved in structural ahupua'a from the oceans to the mountains. At the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, which is a world-renowned research institute located on Mokuolo'e, participants have an opportunity to investigate 21st century technology, environmental conservation, and bioacoustics through sine curves. Through traditional wayfinding techniques with the Polynesian Voyaging Society, we talk about analytic geometry in celestial navigation in the heavens. The culminating experience, Kalaupapa Moloka'i, was once a leprosy colony in isolation, and now it serves as a place for studying natural history, physical beauty, and healing in the highest sea cliffs in the world. Our experiences are grounded in service learning and values-based education, and we strive to always give back to the land. As examples of service learning projects at Kalaupapa, in the past we used the Cartesian coordinate system to map the Chinese cemetery, and we also cleaned and cleared the old Ballroom Boys' Home so the patients could have a place to rest and relax. And in the process of clearing out the debris, we had a very active and lively discussion about concave down parabolas as we threw in the back of a pickup truck. The following is a video produced by UH System Communications with support from HIMB Education.
A group of University of Hawaii students and elementary through college educators on a 20-minute-long boat ride across a glassy Kaneohe Bay. The destination? Moku'olo'e, or Coconut Island, and the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology. Once there, the group begins to collect algae in what is ultimately a search for a different way to teach math. The field trip is part of a science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM program out of the University of Hawaii at Mānoa, funded by federal, state, and Native Hawaiian grants. The program, started in 2009, is called the Ethnomathematics and STEM Institute.
Ethnomathematics is basically, I like to see it as practical math. It's math applied in our culture around us.
Like to relate math outside of the classroom to like your culture, whether it's our own Hawaiian backyard or anything you love, music.
It's basically finding mathematics in our natural environment, in our natural surroundings.
Like Kaneohe Bay. The group finds snapping shrimp and other creatures in the algae collected there. They listen for the snapping sound of the shrimp and test to see if it gets louder and more frequent when a predator, like a crab, is introduced. This leads to a discussion on the mathematical aspects of sound waves.
Amplitude, period, wavelength, frequency. And why should we care about these? Why should we care about these mathematical concepts? It's because it impacts our coral reefs and our backyard.
These types of connections are stressed in each class and every field trip.
Analytic geometry in the fish ponds at Mokoia Island Fishing Village, to hiking down from the highest sea cliffs in the world to Kalaupapa and seeing linear functions and symmetries and intercepts and axes.
When students of any age experience these connections firsthand, it can open up a world that many spend their lives avoiding, the world of math and science.
Actually, I used to hate math.
I didn't even care for math. I thought it was so boring.
But after taking ethnomathematics courses and participating in the program, the students say math is no longer just books and paper.
It was actually a way of life, and it's a way for you to conjure your thoughts up and explain human interaction and explain natural things happening in the world. So it really opened up my eyes.
As a student, it makes me want to come to class. And as a career, I want to go into education, so I hope that I can be able to inspire my students just as I've been inspired to take learning outside of the classroom.
For teachers, the year-long institute allows them to experience different STEM teaching strategies firsthand and the importance of teaching through relatable, real-life scenarios.
They find it more enjoyable. I mean, they're more engaged, and they want to do more math rather than just, recess.
Generous support is provided by the National Science Foundation, Hawaii Pacific Islands Campus Compact, U.S. Department of Education, and the University of Hawaii Diversity and Equity Initiative. The Ethnomathematics and STEM Institute partners with Native Hawaiian and other community and research-based organizations to develop projects that focus on strategies that support current and future STEM educators, including the University of Hawaii System, State of Hawaii Department of Education, Hawaii P20 Partnerships for Education, Pacific American Foundation, Pacific Resources for Education and Learning, and Polynesian Voyaging Society.
As an update, the student Angiana Banta is currently pursuing a degree in secondary mathematics education, and upon completing her degree, she intends to go back to her hometown in the Leeward District. Our three main objectives are to draw on the state of Hawaii's unique population, to explore promising practices in STEM courses in diverse high-needs populations through national and state standards, including the Mathematics Common Core State Standards, the Next Generation Science Standards, and Nā Honua Mauliola Cultural Pathways. To strengthen campus community partnerships and build a research consortium within Hawaii and the Pacific, and commit to high-quality professional learning that is relevant, contextualized, and sustainable. On our Ethnomathematics and STEM Institute website, you can find examples of lesson plans designed and implemented by past participants, including the Fibonacci sequence in nature, mathematics and Native Hawaiian plants, Micronesian sand drawings, fishing for conics, one of my favorites, derivatives of body surfing, that the participant actually collected data on at Sandy's. To provide a specific example, as part of the Institute orientation, we begin with the Hawaiian Star Compass, which is how we orient ourselves and what we use to navigate. There are 360 degrees in the compass and 32 star houses, meaning that each star house is 11.25 degrees apart. While at Auntie Laura's hale, who is Nainoa Thompson's mother, participants use a piece of rope and 32 markers, stones, slippers, whatever materials are nearby, to build the star compass using proofs and symbolic reasoning to find the beauty, power, clarity, and precision of our STEM engagement. I won't give you the answer. I'll let you think about how they might have done that. But we take the circular compass and we transpose it on a quadrilateral to represent the deck of the canoe. The Hawaiian Star Compass doesn't work like most compasses, which will tell you one direction, like north 15 degrees east. According to our kumu, you can only see the stars about 1/5 of the time. So if that's the case, literally and figuratively, how do we find our way when we can't see the stars? Well, you need to know where you've come from to understand where you are, and only then can you move forward in the right direction. And I love this quote here at the bottom of the screen. Once you learn to find your way, you can never be lost, no matter where you go. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is a list of research publications, presentations, and media features. But maybe we'll make this presentation public if you would like to take a look at some of these. Ethnomathematics is not simply memorizing or regurgitating for an exam. It's about discovering our unique identities, embracing responsibilities to civic engagement, and being stewards of the land. Current and future research directions include supporting P20 math education through UH system initiatives such as the Hawaii Graduation Initiative and Hawaii Papaokeao, and strengthening the pipeline to college, career, and community readiness. To highlight a few quotes from these documents, the goal of HGI is to increase the educational capital of the state by increasing the participation and completion of students, particularly Native Hawaiians, low-income students, and those from underserved regions and populations, and preparing them for success in the workforce and their communities. According to Hawaii Papaoke'au, there are powerful motivations for the University of Hawaii to be supportive of its indigenous population. Some of its campuses sit on ceded lands. Negative Native Hawaiian social and economic statistics exist, and inequity of success. However, the best reason is because it is the right thing to do. The Hawaii P20 Council adopted a definition of college, career, and community readiness in fall 2013. There are 4 main pillars, and one of these is wayfinding. As part of the definition of wayfinding, it states, students are able to identify their kuleana and work hard to fulfill these responsibilities to their families, aina, community, and future and past generations. I really love this photo on the top right-hand corner of the screen. It says Kapuna Keiki, and it's on the back beam of Hokule'a. I love it because it reminds me why we're doing the things that we do. It's for the children and for the next rising generation. I would like to now introduce you to 2 students who are truly changing the world. I'm so grateful to know them and to have their examples in my life. They will share with us how ethnomathematics is helping them wayfind through their academic and professional careers. Froilan Garma, Fro, is a mechanical engineering senior at Mānoa. He has been a College of Engineering senator in the 102nd and 103rd Senate. Fro also serves as vice president of the Kappa Sigma fraternity and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. I was extremely lucky to have Fro in my Math 140, which is pre-calculus, Math 241, Calculus 1, and Math 242, Calculus 2 courses at UH West Oahu before we both moved to UH Mānoa. In his free time, Fro simply likes to break dance my heart out. And Darian Day is a PhD student in education, curriculum and instruction at the UH Mānoa College of Education. She has lectured in mathematics and education at UH West Oahu and Leeward Community College and develops mathematics curriculum with Kanehunamoku Voyaging Academy. She first became involved with the Polynesian Voyaging Society as a participant in the Ethnomathematics Institute in 2011, and has since then helped with subsequent institutes as an advisor and voyaged as a crew member from American Samoa to Aotearoa. Darian is passionate about finding ways to use oceanic voyaging as a medium through which students, locally and abroad, can develop their STEM and life skills. So please help me welcome Fro and Darian.
So when I took this class a while back, my view of mathematics was simply, my view of mathematics before I took this class was constrained to just a piece of paper and the math that was in front of me. Although I was really good at it, that's all I really thought what math was. And after taking this class, it was able to just open my mind into the realm of possibilities of math. So I'm sure you guys see this before, but if not, my engineering professor showed it to me a while back, and it's basically, here's the 3 dots, and connect the dots with 4 lines. And in reality, it's you do this. Am I doing this right? Sorry. it's really hard to control on this thing. I didn't realize how hard paint was.
Do you want to use I have a clicker?
Oh, yes.
This is, I think, this one here is the label.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this one at the top. This one. Oh, yeah.
All right, so you use 4 lines, and basically you don't stay within the box to try to connect it. You go outside, and that's how you connect all the dots with using 4 lines. And ethnomathematics just showed me that that piece of paper was just constraining myself, was just setting my own limitations into 4 walls. That math was just set within these 4 walls. And that math is actually more than that, than this wall. That math is everywhere. That I could apply math in different places like the low-E. That's what I did mine on, about the low-E and linear systems and equations. So ethnomathematics is particularly useful for me in a way that my degree is in mechanical engineering. So I was able to apply mathematics in applicable ways in finding solutions. So that's what ethnomathematics really just did for me. That math is everywhere, and I like to joke when you see that mountain, you see how it slopes down. That was just a negative slope. It's a negative linear system. So I didn't really realize that before. I thought it was just a mountain. I was like, wow, it's just a mountain. But after taking this class, I was like, wow, now I see a linear system. Now I see math everywhere. Thank you, Dr. Fruto. But jokingly, and it's fun. And that's what ethnomathematics really taught me.
Thanks, bro. And thank you, Linda, too. Because really, honestly, yeah, this is all because of Linda. It's all Linda's fault that we're here. I guess the greatest thing about being a part of this program and meeting Linda, there are lots of great things about knowing Linda, but I get to be part of multiple genealogies, multiple mo'okuauhau. I get to be part of the mo'okuauhau of the Institute itself, which is great because just before this presentation, we were talking about all the different waves that we've been a part of. We have people that have been in, and now the Institute's in its 8th year. I was in year 3 of it as a participant, and then ever since then, I've been trying to help and not get in the way. But it's been great being a part of, playing both roles, being somebody who gets to benefit directly, and then also perpetuate what the culture of the Institute is, and to be able to pay it forward, because that's kind of been the greatest gift of being a part of the Institute, being a part of Polynesian Voyaging Society. That's the other ohana that I got to join as a result. To the Institute, we got to just go, and Hokulea was in pieces at the time, just her hulls were on dry land. But, never underestimate just even, as much as we deal in abstractions with math and science, technology, never underestimate the power of just that tactile experience, either meeting somebody or meeting, and whether that somebody's a person or a canoe, just touching Hokulea, like that just changed my life forever. And I couldn't not know about her and not want to be a part of the Polynesian Voyaging Society or part of the movement of Ohana Wa'a. And so being a part of that genealogy now has been so awesome to be able to go internationally and interact with little kids who maybe have only heard about this, maybe aren't even really sure what the Wa'a is, and then they get to touch it and see it, and all of a sudden, they're never the same. Even adults. I mean kids of all different ages, whether you're 60 or you're 6. So that's been an amazing impact. And then finally, being a part of this mo'okuauhau in Hawaii with math education, and being a student myself, and constantly learning from my awesome kumu, and my awesome kumu that are younger than me too. But also getting to kind of pass on that stoke, trying to pass on that inspiration that we receive from our amazing teachers, to inspire, or maybe even just light a fire under other students that think they can teach math better than maybe they were taught math, and that helps them develop their confidence in what they know, what they bring to the table culturally from their background, because there's nobody who doesn't do math, right? Everybody does math. It's just a matter of helping students recognize that what they do already is math, and that validates them. And so it's been fun kind of revealing that, not necessarily teaching other students that, but just having them see that. That's just really fun. And they become colleagues and they become your teachers too. And so, yeah, that's what's been the greatest thing about ethnomathematics. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you, Fro and Darian. Aren't our students the best? We have the best students here. I'm so grateful for them. So to end with the UH Mānoa strategic plan, I'd like to share with you a quote. The concepts of kuleana, ohana, and ahupua'a serve to remind us of our responsibilities to family, community, and the environment. Mānoa's hallmark extends far beyond the classroom to bridge theory and practice, fostering creative and critical thinking, and promoting students' intellectual growth and success as contributing members of society. One of the greatest lessons I have learned from the worldwide voyage, from the University of Hawaii, from ethnomathematics, and from you, is about reciprocity. I hope we always remember where we come from and give back to the land, the people, and our communities. We would not be here without these. So yes, I agree with the quote that I opened this presentation with from Isaac Newton, that we do stand on the shoulders of giants. And to that I add, and we will be the shoulders for generations to come. So whether a child grows up in Hau'ula, my hometown, or Tahiti, Samoa, Aotearoa, or South Africa, the next port on the worldwide voyage, each individual voice is not only important, it's absolutely critical as we collectively ma'alama honua. May we be servant leaders, may we be stewards of the land, and may we be caretakers of our planet. Mahalo. Please allow me to add that the beautiful photos and videos are credited to OEV TV, Stacy Sawa, Daniel Lin, Arna Johnson, and the University of Hawaii Communications.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I open up the floor to any questions. I'm sure there probably are all kinds of things that you would like to hear more about.
Okay, yes, please.
Hey, hi. Thank
Hello.
you for your talk.
Thank you.
I'm just interested in two things. One is, I noticed you said that it's also funded by the U.S. Department of Education. And I was just wondering, are there other initiatives like yours in the rest of the United States on ethnomathematics? And I'm not in this field, so I don't know, but we live in Missouri, and so we're just here for the year. I'm very interested in this. And also, just noticing from a parent's perspective, I wondered what your gender mix is, and if you've noticed any changes or those sorts of things.
Yeah. And allow me to also invite up Darian and Fro. If you want to ask them questions as well, they're fantastic resources. Thanks, guys. So to begin with your first question about ethnomathematics, maybe programs and resources, it also falls under the category of culture-based education or culturally relevant pedagogy. So there are a number of resources out there on this. There aren't very many ethnomathematics programs, like degree programs, but here at UH Mānoa, this past academic year, we officially went through the process. So ethnomathematics is a course that's offered in the Department of Curriculum Studies here at this campus. Let's see. And I'm more than happy to provide maybe some resources. I know parents are always interested to learn new things. As far as, why are you guys standing so far away? as far as the gender in the institute, what do you guys think?
Have you seen an increase in any trends, or is that something you'll reported?
What's kind of cool is that I guess it's hard to notice the kind of the gender differences because the institute's modeled very strongly after the kind of like what we do on the Va'a with Hokulea, and that everybody there, you know, is expected to serve as a crew member and perform their functions, their kuleana, regardless of gender. And so it's like we're hiking in and out of Kalaupapa, and we're sharing the cooking duties, and we're doing all kinds of stuff, and it's never been there's never been any kind of glaring differences between like Wahine and Kane as far as who does what, and maybe maybe one of the Kane's like, oh, struggling with this heavy rock, and Wahine's like, oh, I'll pick that up, So that's been kind of the cool thing about it is that, I mean, I don't know how it necessarily breaks down statistically in the profession in terms of people with math PhDs versus math education PhDs, or who's going for elementary education degrees or engineering degrees. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like everybody does everything, and I don't know. Yeah, gender I don't know. Maybe we should start paying attention. I don't know, but otherwise it's been hard to because we all just do everything. So yeah.
Yeah, there's like 4 guys when I was doing it. But I'm not too sure if there was an increase in males after that. Was there?
So if I could add on to what both of our students are saying, maybe it's kind of hard for us to specifically notice that because from the very first moment that we're together building the STAR Compass, the participants are selected based on diversity, geographical representation, age, majors, ethnicity, gender. But once we're together, we are an ohana, and that is a value that is fundamentally part of the Ethnomathematics and STEM Institute. So, like Darian was saying, we just sort of we all dive in, and if anything, I think there are more females than males, like Rose saying.
They're strong. It's even a generational thing too. I mean, we've had people all different ages, but again, like the age kind of spectrum is blurred because everybody does everything too, and that's been really awesome too to have people, undergraduates working alongside professors who've been in the profession for a long time, and it's just, I don't know, you guys can all have realistic conversations, and it's nice. It very much feels like an ohana, uncles and nephews and nieces.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't appreciate the deep spiritual and philosophical underpinnings of this project before today. And I was just wondering when you stopped at your port of calls, do you think the populations in those areas actually get it, actually understand the breadth of your vision and the grandness of your mission?
Thank you very much for sharing that. I think that's something. There seems to be a turning point. Folks have hesitancies, maybe reservations about. I'll just be totally honest. Some people have said, "Well, where's the real math?" Or this is just fluffy math. I've heard comments like that in the past, but I just say it's a matter of time before people see that math is like it's like breathing. It's been around since the beginning of time. It's just figuring out how we understand the world around us. So to answer your question about going into ports, of course there is always a breadth of folks that come down, same as in any port, including Hawaii, folks that are very familiar with Hokulea, and other folks maybe who are newer to the islands and might not know as much. When we go into the ports, we always express our gratitude to our hosts and the people that come down. One of the things that surprised me was oftentimes when we thank the people for allowing us to be in their homes, in their schools, in their communities, they turn around and they say, no, thank you. Thank you for reminding us of our cultures and our traditions and our heritages. One of the highlights of the entire worldwide voyage for me was when we were supposed to go to a number of islands around Samoa, but we weren't able to go to Line Islands, Phoenix Islands, Tokelau, because we didn't have the right winds. And at first maybe I'm human, I was frustrated. I thought my kuleana was to be an apprentice navigator and get us to the islands. But we ended up returning 3 weeks early to Pago Pago. And in that time frame, we visited about 20 elementary through high schools, which we would not have been able to do had we sailed to those islands. And at one of the elementary schools, Matatula, on Tutuila Island, after we had given our education presentation, this child, 7 or 8 years old, stood up and in the Matai, chiefly language, said, which was later translated for me, "Thank you for teaching us what's not written in our textbooks." And that moment is something I think I'll always carry with me, because this child, 7 or 8 years old, he got it. He really got it. And he reminded me, I'm not going to say how many times his age, that we are all learners, and that whether you're a child or a kupuna, everyone has an important voice, and we need to listen to these voices.
I agree. I think definitely even before I knew this course or how culture is applied to mathematics, I didn't realize that how embedded mathematics actually is. So I'm sure that after Dr. Fruto's wonderful presentations, that after I took it, I guarantee I got it. I was able to get it. I'm not able to say for sure for everybody else, but after listening to that, that was amazing.
I guess speaking from firsthand experience being in other ports, on the one hand, we want to present to the public, oh, look at this map, look at all the places Hokulea is going to go. Isn't that exciting? Look at what we're doing. We're changing the world. Malama Honua. But at the same time, I don't know, sometimes, believe it or not really an extrovert. I like having that one-on-one interaction with children or their families and people, and making them feel like we're not just visiting the world, we're visiting you, of all people. We're coming to your island, we're coming to your community, and now we're talking directly to you. And we want to hear about your story. We want to see what you do and what you maybe want to learn about in terms of this VA. We're not going to, we don't have an agenda to cram down your throat. We're not going to enforce these things on you. But whatever you're curious about, we'll try to answer your questions and show you how you are already connected to this voyage without even knowing it maybe previously. And just from little things like that, just making little kids feel like, they could sail this someday, or stay tuned, but follow us around the world, because you know more now than people in your school, and now you can share that with your classmates, and you can be part of this mo'okuauhau. But it's about making that personal connection and having maybe not the huge grandeur of the whole project, but more so how special each individual life, each person, and each community is. And that's been really fun to kind of make them feel like they're special too. So yeah.
We have time for maybe one more formal question. Thank you for coming. This was a wonderful presentation. I learned so much. I'm sure there are other people here who did also. I'm sure you'll stick around for a few more minutes for informal questions if people have them. And I have one more announcement to make, which is that if you are interested in our next lecture, there's a flyer at the back describing that, and it's in early November. And again, thank you, Dr. Linda Peruto, and thank you also to her students, the next generation.
Thank you.